So this is the AD-LFO from Moleco. It's 6 AD envelopes or LFOs. They're grouped in 3, so we can have ADs or LFOs there, or ADs or LFOs there. We've got a loop switch, simply to put those into LFO mode, and a ×10 switch to make those longer. We get a sum output for the top 3 in the middle, and a sum output for the bottom 3. And that's essentially it. Let's check out the sound of these envelopes, or rather the shape of these envelopes. I'm going to take my output directly into the bottom green signal on the Mordax Datascope, and I'm just going to trigger the bottom envelopes. Notice that the single gate triggers all of these. So plugging in a gate, I'm going to take my output from the first of the bottom group of 3 and trigger the bottom group of 3. Notice that a single gate actually sets all 3 of these envelopes off together. This can be broken, and the normal link can be broken with a cable in the gate inputs. These aren't actually gate dependent, these are triggered. So you can trigger these ADs and re-trigger them when they're LFOs. I've got a saw wave going into a VCA, let's just listen to that. And the audio is the blue line on the top of the oscilloscope. So linear envelopes and a linear response on my VCA. Let's see how short we can get that. Nice short pops. Let's check out a longer decay. Still nice and short, so finding those short percussive sweet spots is nice and easy. Now obviously we can make our VCA exponential to respond differently to these linear shapes. So let's check that out. Again, envelope green on the bottom, my audio output blue on the top. But even when it's linear, it certainly goes short enough to create these little pops. Here's the attack. Longest attack and decay in a normal setting. And then we've got the ×10. Let's trigger that. So still rising. And just started falling. Although it's slow enough you can't really detect the peak where it stops rising and starts falling again. Can re-trigger this. And a nice trick is to take the sum output for more unique envelopes. If they're all short, that's what we get with the ×10 on, or super short click without. Let's make one swell in. Notice we get this drop and rise again. Let's give one a longer rise and fall. Notice we get this much longer, more unique shape. Sort of 3 peaks, 2 kinks in the middle of the envelope. If we set these to loop, these will become LFOs, and we don't actually need the gate. Again, these are fast. Let's make them 10 times longer. It's really easy to create typical saw wave, ramp, triangle, and all sorts of skewed triangles in between. Now again, another nice way of creating something unique is to take the sum out. Let's make some of these a bit faster. You see you've got all sorts going on, lots of kinks, lots of rises and falls. Now going to a single LFO again, we can re-trigger the LFOs. So let's fire some gates in. So essentially that's it. 6 ADs, 6 LFOs, or 3 of each. Some output, time 10 switch, which helps to rein in those short sweet spots, and the loop to turn the LFO on and off. Let's check out some patches making use of all these envelopes. So I've got both groups of 3, all 6 envelopes or LFOs in loop mode, in LFOs, so looping ADs, and both are in times 10. I'm using 4 envelopes in this patch, and although you can't quite make the red one out, we've got the blue, red, yellow and green lines showing us our shapes. I've got 4 voices, 4 oscillators into 4 VCAs, and we've just got this looping, cycling, fading in and out, going into a reverb. We're going to create a bit of a drone, sort of chordal patch, if you like. So here's the first voice. This is the top AD-LFO. This is going to go into a reverb. Let's turn up the mix. Perfect recipe for drone stuff. The second voice is the second envelope. Third one. Again, the next one down. And the fourth one. Fourth envelope. Let's crank the reverb. Back the mix to 50-50. Taking that dry, you could take times 10 off, speed everything up 10 times. Slow it right down. Let's just go dry. These all overlap. Let's get that into the reverb. Nice way to make use of those LFOs. Obviously you can apply these anywhere you would to anything, vibrato, FM depth, PWM, modulating effects parameters, anything you want, and we could be re-triggering those. So let's create some drums, and if you're creating your own drum sounds, you'll know you need plenty of envelopes, usually one for pitch, one for amplitude, and maybe one for tonal modulation as well. To start with, let's make a bit of a makeshift kick, and I'm going to trigger the very bottom envelope. We can see you've got that shape on the green on the Mordax data oscilloscope. I'm taking a split of this, one into the scope and out of the scope, that's just a buffered output, and another split as well. The first thing I'm doing is using the envelope for pitch. Now if I turn up my pitch modulation, I've got that going into an attenuator. And I've also got it going into a VCA. So that it's cutting the sound out and the oscillator's not droning. Let's create a bit of a snare, and I'm going to use the top 2 envelopes. So I'm taking advantage of the normal in here by just using the third one, breaking the normal in from the first to trigger my kick, and the top two are normaled to the top trigger, and I'm going to create my snare from that. Now the top one I'm going to use to modulate amplitude, and that's going to come from this cable, also going into the oscilloscope. A basic envelope. And that's using the low pass gate on the Borg 2, which is next to the ADLFO. Now, although that's a short envelope, because I'm using the ring on the LPG in the Borg, I want to have more control, so I'm going to use another envelope. I'm going to take this from the next one down. This is modulating an FM depth, which you can hear sort of making that snare sound gurgle a little bit. We could tune it up and go for that. Short little stab. So independent time. I'm also going to use that second envelope and take a split of it for FM depth on the oscillator used for the snare. Not really a snare, bit of a little percussive noise, but you get the idea. I've got the top three envelopes cycling, but I'm going to take use of this re-triggering. So at the minute I've got some digital noise, which I can turn up. In a VCA. Now I can trigger that VCA straight with the LFO, and being free running, we're not getting much. I'm going to clock it at 16th notes to re-trigger these envelopes, but the re-triggering's not doing much. I've got no attack and a faster LFO rate than the actual trigger. Slowing that down though, actually getting this in time, we can re-trigger it in time as well. Too long, we don't catch those triggers. Too short, we're in sort of manual time because it's faster than the triggers coming in. Now, I can change the timbre of this noise. Let's take an LFO for that. And let's use the other LFO to modulate the wave for the root note that's been FM modulated and pitch modulated on my sort of snare oscillator. So let's check that snare. So yeah, that snare change. So we've got a kick, hi-hats, as always, hit like and subscribe for more videos every week, and check the Patreon link below if you want to support me making these videos.